Hey everyone, I'm Matt Toggle, and this is my first devlog entry for the Global Game Jam 2026. So, the first parts was when we got to see what the theme was, and a couple other, I think they're called diversity challenges. And this sprint, I guess, if you want to call it that, included a brief bit of planning, not a full picture yet due to the time constraints, as well as accomplishing a couple of the features after thinking about the direction I sort of wanted to go. So this whole process so far, I think, is about 8 hours of like actual time dedicated to things. But I'll just go over what my original idea is and some of the themes that I'm going to be trying to target, and out of the maximum I have to target. So the theme this year, or for this challenge, if there's multiple free years for the year, is mask. And there are a few diversity challenges I was going to either incorporate in my game in general, or actually try to aim for. So some things I was playing around with was a Rolling Stone gathers no moss. Your player never stops moving. Now I could have misinterpreted this when I first added it to my list. Um, I was interpreting it as should never stop moving, should never, rather than they don't stop moving. So I was going to possibly add in some movement where you get penalized for standing still, potentially, or not doing any actions. But I'll see if that's what I actually target, since I can only really apply up to four or submit for up to four. I don't know. What I wound up adding is unified language. Sorry, unidentified language. I can't read. All in-game text, symbols, spoken words, and written language must use a completely made-up language. So I have a bunch of symbols that I replaced with, and I'll talk about that system in a bit. Many hands make light work. Make the game that meant to be played with four or more players. I was targeting multiplayer, so I'm going to be using some of Unity's gaming services for this. Originally, I was going to be targeting WebGL, but then I realized the limitation of WebGL is we can't really have a host, even if you fake a host. At least faking a host wouldn't be viable as much in a game jam scenario. So I'm going to be probably aiming for both desktop and WebGL. So WebGL can be used for like single players that works, and as a client connection, whereas the desktop versions would be your full-featured game. Cartridge ready, probably not going to happen. So I have it here as a possibility, but I'm not anticipating it. Random encounter, make the game around procedural generation. I plan to have procedurally generated levels, which is a later sprint. Um, let's jam. I thought this was an interesting idea of having the game generate music by doing different actions. If I have time, maybe I'll add something in there, but I'm probably not going to be submitting specifically for this. Out of sight, create a game that can be played by both sighted and blind players. I was kind of debating this, but I don't think I'll actually be targeting it. For this one, Unity's cubes. Think outside the cube or inside the cube, we don't know. Just use some cubes, squares, boxes, real-time tri-dimensional objects are welcome too, so on and so forth. Um, I'm playing around with this because I am primarily not a graphic designer or a graphic artist, so this actually benefits. I'll see what I can do with it, but I do hope that it's a little bit more than just simple cubes. We'll see how time goes. I focus more on it working first, then the polish. Cross-platform, design your game to seamlessly adapt across platform, PC, web, or mobile. I was originally targeting WebGL, but I'm gonna probably have to target desktop as well. So this may just be there by nature. I don't know if I'll actually apply to it. The outgrow hunger, which I forgot to add a little note here. Um, this is something I was thinking about incorporating my game, design a game where players are care for a natural space that feeds and supports a community. Cool, more or less. I'll have objectives based on that as a core like idea. Now for the brainstorm side, um, the theme is masks. So I was thinking of ways of incorporating masks into the game. So my two kind of running ideas are masks can be picked up to boost or apply stats, or the masks can be picked up to grant a power or an ability. I have this idea a little bit fleshed out a little bit more, not in this set of notes. but I would have it where certain masks allow you to take on certain roles, but masks decay over time and per use of whatever that role is. I'm planning to maybe be able to hold on to a couple masks to switch through, and then you have to pick up new masks to acquire other roles or reacquire your role. And masks would drop maybe from enemies or certain things. I haven't planned too far ahead, but that's my running idea. You can kind of relate it to like the Mario games where you have a hat for different effects. For the Outgrow Hunger, I was going to have some crop growing system, and the objective is you have to keep it running and working while periodically you get ambushed by enemies and so on and so forth. So the plan is to kind of take it semi-tower defense, so the players can be in multiple places at multiple times. You can set up different defenses, so blockades, turrets type things, so on and so forth. Again, not fully thought out yet, but this is the direction I'm planning to go, at least as of this video. Semi-tower defense, sorry, the arcade shooter side of it. So some of the masks will let you kind of sit there and actively attack. So maybe there's going to be a player, melee player, maybe a certain type of range, or magic, or something. So these are the core kind of ideas that I'm playing around with. The running name I'm going with is Corson. So that will be talked about later. Players, I will hopefully have it moderately or barely balanced to work across 1 to 8 or however many players. I'm not sure what I'll cap it at yet, since everything is just kind of fresh. I am using Unity, and for Sprite Tool, I'm learning about Libra Sprite. I've not done this myself in a long time, so I'm taking a look to see what's viable. And if I need to do any 3D stuff, I'll likely jump into Blender, but again, it's been a while, so these are some of the roadblocks or slowdowns that I could face. Now for Sprint 1, I had planned a couple things and wound up adding something to the list that I got done over something else. So Sprint 1, I want to have a language cipher tool. I want to have some very basic movement, all networked, click to move. I was going to have the action bar and proximity interact applied here, but this is going to be moved to another sprint. Multiplayer chat, so I do have chat available despite you not being able to read things. So not in this list here, but in here I do have to like spend time to like get things out of my head. You will be having unreadable text, but as you play the game, you will learn words or letters over time, so your messages will become more fully formed as you collaborate. So it'll be really tough, and the player will have to find other ways of getting their point across until each player has learned the language. And to make it a little bit more difficult, the language changes each game session, so you can't just like memorize it once and translate it. You'd have to like learn it through the game. Yeah, there are ways to like game the system still, but I'm not like a linguistic to get this to work. It's just symbol replacement. Um, and I also have simple enemies, range and melee, and very, very, very basic health right now, where I don't even show it. It's just a number. It's just something I kind of finish the night with, as very simple systems. So what I can do is I can show what I have now, hopefully, if everything goes well. I will set it up for multiplayer. So very basic proof of concept things. I'm going to start as a host, and I will find the other window if the enemies don't just attack me. And I have my other player. Cool. So we already have an enemy spawned. I don't know why it was just 1 here, but I think it's because I have some randomization here where it could be like 1 to like 4. I don't know. I don't remember. But so the enemy will switch targets based on that proximity. There in the logs, it'll show that we're getting hit when we will die from damage and stuff like that. But everything's all networked here. We can even just bring over this other window. And then we have our chat box and interactions here. So I still have to fix the layout of the sprites because I've never really made a non-English font-like thing, and the scaling is just super strange. It didn't quite work out of the box. I have to play with the scaling and position a little bit to get it to work. But uh, we have our input field and our button here. So this is ready to cipher. I will bring up the sheet I put together because, again, I'm not a linguistic, so it's all about patterns and whatever, and I want to get a proof of concept. Maybe this will change by the time it's demoed. I don't know. But here, I can type a message. Yes, there's a little bit of issues, and you also saw that the recast went through the UI. That's going to be another fun Unity thing to deal with, but hello, how are you? So we can see what it is. I also have it on key press to learn the letter E for testing my system. That's why it populated in the send button. But if I go ahead and send it, it shows the message, how the symbols are, but only the letters that I've learned already, which because I have E learned, it replaces E. So as I learn things, it'll update previous messages, it'll update the current UI, so you can discover what it's trying to tell you. So it's going to be a lot of discovery in the beginning of this game. And in the gameplay loop, it's going to be the same. It's just learning what it is so you can actually properly communicate. And for the other side, it did network across here. So I'm good. Set. Awesome. This player doesn't know any letter. Of course, if I press the letter E here, it'll then replace all the E symbols with that, and they'll be a little bit closer to being able to communicate. I do plan to have, if not gestures, but like symbols, like maybe like Sims-like, that the players can possibly do using a wheel selector. That way there can still be some communication at some point prior to learning how to talk or read or whatever, vice versa. So that's an idea. Also, I had to clip this in, but this is the kind of sprite sheet I was working with. I just forgot its move now. So I just created a bunch of patterns here. It's really hard to see because it's like white on grayscale. But it's just a repeating set of patterns where each one is a unique symbol. I have it for each of the letters, and I have it for each of the numbers, so 0 to 9. But these get shuffled up for their respective sections, so you can't just memorize what it is. I also left myself a couple slots for any other symbols I wanted to add in the future that I didn't plan ahead for. Such, but just wanted to like patch into this video somewhere. I think one of my players actually already died. Yeah, I think I have to move over to here. Yeah, okay, so player 0 died because they took as much damage as their health. Awesome. So this is the current stage here. I'm just building out the small systems. I'm going to try to flesh things out as I go through the different items. What I'm doing is I'm focusing on really smaller concepts, piecing them together, and hopefully having enough time to polish. I don't really know exactly how much time I'll have this weekend because I had a couple events kind of like double booked, and I joined this a little late. But I'm hoping I can reach my like at least full play cycle enough to demonstrate this pretty well. So thanks for watching. Take care and see you guys in the next devlog.